Brighton certainly had a very successful 22-23 season, starting under Graham Potter, eventually him getting poached, but the grass was greener. Roberto De Zerbi is a fantastic manager, and he guided Brighton all the way to 6th place, and that has led to their 2-star men, Alexis Mac Allister and Moises Caicedo, being picked from them in this summer window. We're going to be looking to rebuild Brighton back to being in the top 6, and then hopefully building from there, lifting some trophies, maybe winning a Premier League or two, getting in the Champions League and seeing what we can do with this wonderful club of Brighton. But without further ado, let's get into it. A fully realistic 5-year rebuild. What's going on there, guys? Ken B here, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another rebuild from myself. Yes, we are pumping the content out. We've had Feyenoord and Ajax in the last week, and now we have Brighton, and next week is going to be very, very fun as well. So make sure you're subscribing to the channel to keep up to date with all of these rebuilds. Today, like I said, is Brighton, and this tactic was built actually a couple of weeks ago. We'll go straight into the tactic as a Roberto De Zerbi recreation in a 4-2-3-1. You can see I've made a few signs already, and also got the realism of João Pedro in, etc. But we'll go through all of that in just a minute. So this tactic has been released on the channel. It was a couple of weeks back, so you might have to go and find it, and it'll be down in the description anyway, the link to the tactic. But if you want to watch the video on the results of this tactic, you can head over there. It is literally just, I think, 2 weekends back. Crazy couple of weeks. So this rebuild has been sitting here for a couple of weeks already simmed. I've just not managed to get a time to get it out, you know, with everything else going on. And I'm actually excited because I've got no idea what happens. I've completely forgot where this rebuild goes, to be honest. So I'm looking forward to getting right into it. Now, you can see a few signs we have made on the screen, but I think it's key to go through all of the outs as well. So Mac Allister, 35 million to Liverpool. Caicedo, 70 million to Chelsea. The two big ones, the two reasons that Brighton need this little rebuild here. They're going to have a massive hole in their team next season. Two very influential players both leaving the club. So we've decided to keep it realistic. We've brought in James Milner-Dahoud and Bart Verbruggen, and then they have been heavily linked as well with Mohamed Kudus from Ajax. Now, this is an unbelievable signing if they manage to get it off. I'm not sure if they're going to be honest. He is an unbelievable player, but I picked him up, £52 million. They're not linked with too many players from what I can see, and he was one of the players they were most linked to, so I thought we might as well bring him in. Mo Kudus, fantastic player, can play on the right wing, can play cam, can play in centre mid, he can play up front, he can play on the left, he can play pretty much anywhere. So he's going to be a very influential player for us, only 22 years of age. Livy Colville I brought back in on loan, and as I record this, last night England under-21s won the European Championship, so massive congratulations to them, and he again was unbelievable. So I'm not sure if they're going to pull off this signing or loan in real life, because I think Chelsea might want to keep him around, but we'll see if we can keep him here at Brighton. He's back on loan for season number 2, and we'll see if he can do absolute bits as well. Wilfred Ndidi signed for 25 million from Leicester. DM obviously to replace Moises Caicedo. Ndidi relegated with Leicester last season. Fantastic DM. Had a bit of a drop off last season, but we know how good he can be from his 2 or 3 years before that, how good he was as a CDM. So hopefully Wilfred Ndidi can find back that form and help Brighton get back to the big time. Signing as a backup centre-back, Axel Tuanzebe, just been released from Manchester United, has had loans out in Napoli, at Villa. He was fantastic for Villa in the Championship as well. And I brought him in as a backup centre-back here. He's actually 3-star current ability, 3.5-star potential. Some really good stats on Axel Tuanzebe. I think he's just got very unlucky with injuries and bits in his career. I'm not too sure what's going to come up here, but yeah, 2, 3 months, 4 months, 3 weeks. So it's been a bit of a rough time for Axel Tuanzebe, but hopefully we can see and get the best out of him. That's a free transfer, so a good one. Yuri Bass has been brought in as a backup left back to Pervis Estupiñán, 2-star current ability, 4-star potential. We'll see if he develops into too much, but just a good backup. Beñat Turienses is a signing I've made as well, and load him straight back out to Real Sociedad. He is a fantastic CDM. I'm not sure if he played last night for Spain. He possibly did. 21 years old, Spanish, and it's absolutely fantastic. 5-star potential, 2.5-star current ability. I loaned him back out because obviously we just signed Milner and Dahoud in real life, as well as signing Ndidi. So I decided we'll get him back out on loan. Hopefully he can do bits over there and then come back to us as a top player. And Riley Owen is a free transfer as well, so I've got no idea who this is. He was released by Spurs. I don't know, remember signing him. We'll ignore Riley Owen, shall we? A few other players have gone out on loan and left on a free contract, but no one massive from what I can see. Money-wise, we are pretty set here at Brighton. We've got £125 million in the actual bank and still £50 million in transfer budget, which is great. There's a decent sort of pool of youth potential players. We've got 4-star youth facilities, 4-star training facilities. Our prediction this season is 10th, which is quite interesting. There's still some players to move on. There's a great potential here, obviously, Turientes, Kozlowski, Abdullah Sima, Simon Adin Greya, Cameron Pupignon, and the under-18s, again, there's a couple, but there is one man who is full of potential, and we all know who it is. It's Evan Ferguson. Now, I've had sims where this guy has turned out to be the best striker in the world. I've had sims where he turns out to be the most average striker you've ever seen in your life, which is the beauty of Football Manager, because it can go either way. When you load it up, he is certainly one of them players that has got a range of potential, so he's not always going to be at sort of 180 and he'll be the best player in the world. I think it's probably at 150 to 180. And how often do I see him become 150? Very often. He becomes the most average striker in the world, but hopefully that's not the case this time. He is going to be our striker for this season, and in fact our team this season, as well as a tactic, I'll go through it all, is going to be Robert Sanchez in goal, on support, sweeper keeper. I know there's a bit of, I don't know if he's going to stay or not, Robert Sanchez. Barbara Bruggen has been brought in real life as a fantastic young goalkeeper. Sadly on FM, he's not really got the ability, which is a bit annoying, which is why I kept Sanchez around. I wish Barbara Bruggen was better, but he's just not good enough to be a starting Premier League goalkeeper on FM. I think in real life is a high potential he could be. Wing back on support on the right will sit narrower as Tariq Lamptey, and a wing back on support and sit narrow on the left as Purvis Estupiñán. Two back centre backs are Levy Colville and Lewis Dunk, same as last season. Both ball-playing defenders on defend. That is the exact same back line as they had last year. We've got DLP on defend in the left DM role, and that is Mo Dahoud, a free signing in real life from Borussia Dortmund. Very good sign in my opinion. Fantastic to pick up on a free as well. And you can see already got a value of around 35 million. So great signing in him. And next to him is a Volante on support, dribble less and tackle harder. Wilfred and Ndidi, already gone through him. Very happy with that signing. On the left-hand side, the star man, Karel Matoma, inverted winger on attack, cross aim centre and tackle harder. We know how good this guy is. Unbelievable dribbling, unbelievable pace, great flair as well. Just 26 years of age. And I'm sure he's going to take the Premier League by storm for the next 3 or 4 years. Very consistent and loves a big match as well. Brand new signing as well, João Pedro in real life has been brought in. £30 million from Watford. Very consistent player. Decent shadow striker as well. Sort of great for this role. Is exactly what we needed, and he's been signed in real life. So very happy with that one. And Mo Kudus as the inside forward on support on the right hand side with sit narrower. The shadow striker has got no further instructions, I believe. I can't click on him, but I'm 99% sure he hasn't. And a complete forward on attack up front, Evan Ferguson. Shoot more often and tackle harder. Mentality wise, we're set to positive in possession, it's shorter passing, play out defence, be more expressive, overlap just on the left hand side, a slightly higher tempo and playing fairly wide. In transition, we are taking short kicks, distributing to the centre backs and the full backs, countering and counter pressing, and it's a high press system, a standard defensive line, preventing the short goal kick distribution and triggering the press much more often. I believe what I ended up doing was making Zerbi my assistant at some point, so he'll be in charge of all the games, etc. I've probably not just done it yet as of the save file, but I'm sure I did do that. So Zerbi is also going to be managing all the games. So Brighton, you've not lost your man, you've got his tactics, and now we've got a fantastic new season to go into this season with. We've got the Europa Conference League for some reason, maybe a little bug in the simulation, possibly. I'm getting a new PC next week, so all bits like that will be fixed. Potentially, I think they should be in the Europa League, so that's just an error that we need to fix. But Conference League this season, FA Cup and Carabao Cup with the Premier League also. Let's get right into it. Season number 1, how can we get on? Just a very, very quick interruption from myself. If you guys can like the video, subscribe to the channel and follow on all these 4 wonderful things. We've got Twitter, TikTok, Threads, Instagram, YouTube second account, and everything you can think of as well. And obviously a Patreon as well. And these Patreon members on screen, you guys are absolute legends and are genuinely making my dreams come true. So I'm so thankful to every single one of you. This Brighton rebuild file will be in the Patreon as this video comes out, as is every other rebuild file. So if you want to go on there and there's any rebuild files you would have wanted, I believe it's £5 a month and you get access to all the rebuild files every single month. So massive thank you if you are doing that, and a massive thank you to the legends on the screen that have already done that. Now I'm coming back in a Europa Conference League final. We have won it 4-0. I wanted to get a little bit of gameplay with the tactic as well. It's a great ball there from Ndidi through to the star man, Karel Mitoma, for 1-0 in the 65th minute. We won the game at 4-0. So it was a tight game until we sort of opened up the gates. Mitoma on the ball. You can see João Pedro running in beyond Mo Kudus. We got Solly March out on the right as well. I actually believe Kudus is in cam. João Pedro's up front and March is on right wing for this goal. March goes alone with this one and blasts it across the goalkeeper to make it 2-0 in the 80th minute. And just 2 minutes later, we've got some lovely build-up play. Levi Colville playing in left back, finding Karel Mitoma. Mitoma on the ball, a great switch again to Solly March, a great touch, and an unbelievable finish from Solly March, of all players, to be absolutely banging the goals in the Europa Conference League final. Again, some great play. Mulder into Kudus, a great ball over the top again, and with the pace of Karel Mitoma, we are an absolute masterclass on the counter-attack, and that makes it 4-0 and a very easy Europa Conference League final. You can see in the stats we definitely deserved a win. 19 shots to their 11 as well, so certainly the team on top in that one, and luckily we did very well in that, because in the league it all got a little bit too much. I think the squad depth certainly didn't help. We probably didn't have enough players in enough positions to really challenge in Europe, in the Cups and in the league, but luckily we absolutely smashed the Conference League. So we're back in the Europa League next season, which is good because I want to try and stay in Europe this whole time. It was a bit of a nightmare. Losing two of the best players, believe it or not, is quite painful for your team. It makes quite a big impact. I mean, in terms of the players scoring the goals, we had 19 coming from Ferguson, who played 26 games and 16 off the bench. 19 and 13 from Mitoma, 16 and 5 from Kudus, 12 and 8 from Pedro, 7 and 11 from Solly March, 7 and 4 from Adam Lallana, 5 and 7 from James Milner, 3 and 11 from Pascal Grossstill, Facundo Buonanotte with 2 and 2, 2 goals for Danny Welbeck as well. So maybe a backup striker for Evan Ferguson is going to be needed for this. And I mean, if you've seen the cover, if you've seen the thumbnail, you know who the cover star is. He's coming in at some point, which is going to be very, very exciting. But yeah, a decent enough season. We're predicted to come down in 10th. We've come 11th, but we've also won the Conference League. A very similar season to West Ham this season in real life, which I think we'll definitely take. We saw West Ham's sort of celebrations from winning this competition, so I think Brighton fans would take that as well. So season number 1 has gone fairly decent, not the greatest season of all. We've got £77 million to go out and spend. In terms of young players coming through the academy, we got a couple of 4-star potentials, but no one absolutely unbelievable. And then in terms of the club info as well, still 17 youth facilities, 18 training facilities, so a very, very well run club. But yeah, season 1, very, very quick update on that one. We won a competition, which is fantastic, but it's time to win a couple of more trophies and do better in the league as well. So season 2, let's get right into it. I'll show you the transfers and everything at the end of this season so we can see how they have done in their first season in the mighty blue and white. Well, I tell you what, we're just the absolute masters of Europe. A 2-1 victory in the Europa League final this season, this time against Aston Villa. João Pedro stick us 1-0 up in the 13th minute, and Aston Villa are going to come back in the second half to make it 1-1. You can see they're built up from the back here. Buendia on the ball, a ball over the top to Marcus Thuram, an unbelievable signing for Villa, who blasts it home, and then we ended up winning the game in the 120th minute for an Oscar Gluck goal. Brand new signing coming in. Fantastic one, the kid. We'll go through him in a minute. Dahoud with a great ball in behind to Mitoma, who cuts it back, and Gluck does put the ball in the back of the net in the 120th minute. I mean, Brighton, we've won the Conference League and we've won the Europa League already in season 2. We're an absolute European masterclass. We've done much better in the league this season as well, coming in 7th position. So quite happy with that, meaning 6 teams are going to be in the Champions League next season. We've got Liverpool in first, Arsenal in second, and Villa, the team we beat in the final, coming in 3rd place. So Villa, a fantastically well-run club under Unai Emery, doing absolute bits. Carabao Cup and FA Cup, we didn't have very good showings in at all, but you know, it's not the end of the world. We move on. We've won a Europa League, so it doesn't really matter, does it? I mentioned signing-wise as well, we would need a backup to Evan Ferguson. The man I went with was Callum Wilson. This guy is always ridiculously good on Football Manager, and he carried that on in this save. 25 goals and 3 assists in 30 games, 15 off the bench. So probably about half and half coming from him and Evan Ferguson playtime, which is quite good. £14 million, very happy with that signing. William Clem, again, I see as a very, very Brighton signing. A young Danish DM, 6'1", very good on the ball, great first touch. DLP on defend is what he's best at, so will fit in to that Mo Dahoud role very, very well in the future. Signed for just £5 million. Oscar Gluck was the signing we made from Salzburg, who obviously won us the Europa League final. Now worth £80 million. An unbelievable signing it turned out to be. £16.5 million we spent on him, and is a fantastically talented young man. Israeli, 21 years of age. Again, fantastic value, great technique, passing, finishing is obviously good enough to win us the game. And right backup, even Fresneda was available for £8 million from Real Valladolid. Now, this guy is probably going to go one or two ways in real life. End up signing for like a Brighton, or end up signing for like a PSG. I mean, it's going to either, he could go literally anywhere. So I don't think it's massively unrealistic to bring this guy in, especially as, you know, after season 1, he's probably not done the greatest Valladolid, and we picked him up for just £8 million. Very, very happy with that one. And also we picked up Levi Colville on a full-time transfer. £52 million it cost us. But after 2 seasons on loan, he didn't want to go back to Chelsea with Noni Madueke. He wanted to stay here at Brighton, the club he truly loves. He's like Mason Mount. You know, he looks Chelsea, but he is just, you know, not. I love that. That's fantastic. £19 million in outgoings as well. Ayari was settled for £11 million. Sarmiento sold for £7.5 million as well. There's £61 million gone here as well, because Solly March left for £30 million. Veltman left for 13. Billy Gilmore left for 12.5. And Jan Van Poel Heke left for 4.8 million. And the squad for season 2 was looking like this. You know, you can see I tried to lock in Evan Ferguson for the end of the season because Callum Wilson was playing way too many games. 16 starts, 8 off the bench, 17 goals. So he certainly picked up a little bit. But again, it's one of them. He is not developing like sometimes he does. I've seen videos from, I think Jake Cooper has done one of him at Real Madrid, and he's like 1,000 goals in 10 years. So yeah, he's not developing quite as good as that, which is a bit of a shame. Goals wise, it is come from Callum Wilson and Evan Ferguson. Matoma again 14 and 16. Oscar Gluck with 10 and 11. João Pedro 10 and 11. Very happy with that. Mo Cooley's just 6 goals but 16 assists. Again, is absolutely fantastic. So happy with how the squad is lining up. I think we need a few more numbers in the team, to be honest. We are looking a little bit light. We've got just a 22-man squad. In terms of transfers, we have now got £108 million, £300,000 in wage budget as well. So let's go forward. Season 3, can we actually get into the top 4? Can we challenge for the Champions League? And we've won everything else, we might as well. And maybe even an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup. So let's get into it. Season number 3. So there's another £70 million spent this summer, and number 1 signing was Andre from Fluminense, a fantastic young Brazilian CDM, 15 to 18 million pounds. Very, very consistent. Loves a big match. 5'10". Already got a couple of caps for Brazil as well, and is a great signing. And again, a very Brighton signing. I mean, this is probably a year or 2 later than Brighton was signing in real life, a bit like Caicedo. They get in very early. Again, I can see this guy going somewhere like Brighton in real life. He is fantastic from the clips you see on Twitter, etc. A very, very good little player in Andre as well, and signed for just £18 million. David Raya is the goalkeeper I decided to sign. Bart Verbruggen not developing quite enough, and I thought David Raya at Brentford wants an upgrade and wants to come to Brighton. He is now 30 years of age, but certainly a very, very good goalkeeper. A big upgrade on Robert Sanchez as well, so happy to get him in. A decent enough season, 69 goals conceded and 55. Not too bad, not great, but you know, a decent enough goalkeeper, that is for sure. Benoit Badiashile has not progressed at Chelsea, so we brought him in here at Brighton for £28.5 million, meaning we've got Badiashile and Levi Colville at the back here at Brighton in just 3 years. But again, I think we've done it in quite a realistic manner. He has not developed the way Chelsea would have hoped, and this season for Brighton, he's done very, very well. 6.94 average rating, very consistent, loves a big match. Again, very, very happy to get him through the door. And Enzo Diaz is the last signing I made as well, another left back backup for Perez Estupinian, because Yuri Bass was not developing at all. Very consistent, again, loves a big match, was signed for just £10 million from River Plate, who was signed him for 2.2 from Talleres in Argentina. He's now come to Europe and has, you know, done decent. He's absolutely devastated because he played 4 games all season, but he's earning 40 grand a week, so he can stop crying. let's be honest. He'll be happy enough. A few players on the outgoings as well. There was, Kel Shepard and Kadra and Diaga, Bass and Undav all left on loan because they were not quite doing the business. In the competition screen, we won another European trophy. The only one outstanding is the Champions League. We've won the UEFA Super Cup, which is quite cool. It's a nice little winner, 1-0 win against Madrid with Matoma winning that one as well. So we're an absolute European, masterclass here at Brighton, which is fantastic. FA Cup and Carabao Cup, again, Wolves isn't the most difficult of draws, but City in the fourth round is a bit annoying. Champions League, we got knocked out in the quarters by Barcelona. It was a we won 3-1 at home and lost 4-0. 3-1 at the Bernat Camp Nou and lost 4-0 at home, which is very annoying. But it would have been good to get through that one. League position-wise, you can see we're quite consistent in around this 6th, 7th place. And again, coming in 7th, quite funny. We take Brentford's goalkeeper. They go and do better than us straight away. They've got Jordan Pickford in goal now. Is he better than David Raya? That'd be really annoying if he is. He is, isn't he? Just like that. We've been absolutely mugged off by Brentford. But we're European champions. We're the best European team in the world. That's what happens when you win the UEFA Super Cup. And it's Brighton. So we're absolutely loving it. Data hub-wise, I'm aware I've not shown you guys this too much. It is very much like this with this Zerbi tactic. With an underdog team doing quite well on goals conceded, doing quite well on goals scored per game. It's a very nice little graph pretty much every single season. But yeah, no highlights to show you today, sadly, which is a little bit annoying for this season. But certainly a decent enough season. Again, £60 million to spend in terms of players coming through the academy. If we look at the under-18s, we got Christopher Stilianu, who was actually from the first season. He's actually looking quite good. Now got a very good value. Some great flair, bravery, technique, good finishing, etc. So we'll see what he can turn into. And in the under-21 squad as well, there's nothing really in there, but in the main squad, potential-wise, we've got a lot of very, very exciting youngsters. If I can find the reports button, that is. We've got Even Freshen Duff, Facundo Buonanotte, Oscar Gluck, Colville, Andre Pedro, Kudus, Ferguson, William Clem, just to name a few, all looking very, very good. So happy with them. So yeah, very, very good still. Happy with this rebuild and how it's going so far. That's season 3. We've got 2 more years to go. Are we going to win the Premier League, the Euro Champions League, FA Cup and Carabao Cup? Get it in the comments down below and let me know. What other trophies are we going to win? 2 seasons to go. Let's go straight into it. Season number 4. Brighton, European champions. Again, 3 out of the 4 seasons, we have won a European trophy. Starting off with the Conference League, then we won the Europa League, and then actually we did win the UEFA Super Cup, and now we're winning the Europa League again. It starts off with 1-0 goal to Lazio in the 56th minute, but we get right back into it. Fresneta, a ball over the top to Oscar Gluck, and he's going to find, who's that? Tammy Abraham in the box to put us 1-1 in this game. Lazio now on the ball again. A high press system as De Zerbi does like to play. We've boxed him in. Evan Ferguson has got some passion about him. He stole it off him and he's absolutely blasted it in from 30 yards in the 93rd minute. What an absolute screamer that is. And then Enzo Lafayette, he's crossed it in. It's gone back out to him from the corner ball. He's going to turn his man, stick it into the outside to... Again, I've got absolutely no idea who this goal guy is because I've done this rebuild a couple of weeks ago, but Akechi Kolovole is someone that has come through the academy, I believe, and he's only 2.5 star potential, and he's just scored an absolute screamer in the Europa League final. So, fair play. It was this one performance for us all season, and he scored that goal to win us the Europa League final. Competitions-wise, coming in 7th place again. It's pretty much been 6th or 7th all this whole rebuild for us. Very consistent, and I think that's quite realistic in how sort of it could be for Brighton. If they can carry on doing what they're doing, it's going to be very difficult to break into the top 4, especially now with Newcastle and Villa doing absolute bits as well in real life. So Brighton have got a real battle on their hands to keep getting in Europe, but if we keep winning the European trophies, we'll keep staying in Europe. Now we saw a few new signs there. Most notably, the cover star, Tammy Abraham. Yes, he was outrageously expensive. Yes, it's a little bit unrealistic for Brighton to sign someone for £100 million, but I needed a striker. And I absolutely love Tammy Abraham, and he loves Brighton. 47 goals in 57 games, and he is exactly what we needed to sort of helpfully take us to that next level. Evan Ferguson has just not developed the same as we hoped he would. I mean, he scored an outrageous goal in that final, but he's not developed into what we hoped. Enzo Lafiti, 25.5, going up to £40 million for him as well. Fantastic CDM, real great talent in real life as well, playing at FC Lyon. So very, very happy to get him over the line for 25.5. And Miguel Gutierrez is a young left back, signed for £25 million from Girona, value of £40 million already. Sales-wise, Tariq Lamptey left to Newcastle for £45 million. Dahoud gone to Leicester for 16. Enzo Diaz and Callum Wilson both going to Celtic as well. He didn't even, I thought he would have absolutely murdered the Celtic, the Cinch Premiership. Didn't play a single game, Callum. Absolutely shocking. And the other signing we made as well was Jan Couto, a free transfer from Manchester City, backup right back. Very happy with him. Exactly what I would have wanted as a backup right back for free as well. Is fantastic. Tuanzebe, £23 million back to Napoli. He actually developed quite well, played 75 games for us overall, and has just played a full season in the Serie A. So I'm happy I got Axel's career back on track, which is great. Robert Sanchez at the club for £9 million. David Evans and a few others also leaving the club. But the squad is looking very, very strong if we pick it by the best 11. You can see it's David Raya in goal, Ivan Fresneda at right back, Levi Colville, Badashil and Gutierrez as the back four, Andre Anandidi in front of that, João Pedro on the right, Kudus on the cam, Mitoma on the left and Abraham up top. Bench-wise, Bart Verbruggen, Estupinian, Enzo Lafiti, Oscar Gluck, Jan Couto, Jakob Moda, Evan Ferguson, Adam Webster, Facundo Buonanotte, Julio Enciso, Lewis Dunk and William Clem. Julio Enciso simply does not have potential on FM. I wish he did again, but sadly he has just been a very average player for us, unlike what I think he'll be in real life. Do not slander me in the comments. He's got 3-star potential ability and does not develop on Football Manager. Hopefully next season, that is a completely different story. But that was season 4. We've won another trophy, another Europa League. It'll be good to maybe win something else other than a European trophy. An FA Cup or a Carabao Cup would be the goal for season number 5. Let's get right into it. Season 5. What can we win? Let's see what we can do. Before we do get into season 5, a massive thank you for getting this far. If you can, make sure to like the video down in the description below. That would be absolutely massive as well. Massive thank you to the Patreon members on the screen now. You are all absolute heroes, so thank you very, very much. You are making my dreams come true. And even when I feel like I do today, like I've been pushed through an absolute train wreck, I'll make sure to get the content out for you guys because your support has been unbelievable. So thank you so much. We have got another bit of gameplay to show you. You got to guess though which trophy it is. I'm clearly not loading up which game it is, which is why I am delaying. But it's not the Europa League, it is not the Champions League, it is not the Premier League. It is the FA Cup, and we've beat Spurs in the final of this one. Abraham finding Wilfred Gnonto on the right-hand side, an unbelievable signing, who then finds Abraham, who has burst his way all the way into the 6-yard box and stuck us 1-0 up, which is absolutely fantastic to see. Abraham again linking up the play in that striker role as that complete forward. Finds Mitoma on the left, Gnonto, pure pace on the right-hand side, finds a great ball in to guess who? Tammy Abraham in the 6-yard box again with another fantastic finish, and it's 40 minutes in, we're 2-0 up. Enzo Lafiti absolutely murders Enyasiri, but the ball eventually finds Galleno, who finds Edouard, who's going to round the goalkeeper, and Spurs are going to make it 2-1 to us. But you know, we're not finished here, are we? Let's be honest. We've got another goal to come. It's going to be Christian Romero on the ball. He's going to find Thierry. He's going to find Edouard up top again. And it's a great touch from Edouard and a great finish to make it 2-2. There's 2 goals on my top bit here. It says it's 3-2, and one must have been disallowed for Spurs. And the 88th minute, again, Abraham dropping into the hole. Kudus, an outrageous ball through to João Pedro. And in the 88th minute, we make it 3-2. And Spurs still have not won a trophy. And Brighton have won the FA Cup, the Europa League twice, the Conference League, the Super League, the UEFA Super Cup twice as well, after we battered Bayern Munich, a hat-trick from Tammy Abraham, who again scored 41 goals in this season. And in the league, we actually come 5th as well, so back in the Champions League, even though we got knocked down in the quarters by Bayern, who got a little bit of payback on us for us battering them in the whatchamacallit. Carabao Cup we didn't manage to win, which is a little bit sad. We got third rounded by Newcastle again. I said that Spurs haven't won a trophy, and I hope they actually hadn't, and they actually still haven't won a trophy. So how very Spursy of them. Transfers wise this season, we brought in a few very, very good players. We brought in Thomas Bartoloni from Belgrano, a backup young centre back, £21 million worth of wages. Again, I do make these signings for you guys so that when you pick up this rebuild file, there is some fantastic wonder kids in there as well. So he looks fantastic. We've got Juan Carlos Adrianaz as well, another backup young centre back, £25 to £30 million value. And the big signing, Wilfred Nonto. How much did he cost us? About £50 million, rising to 77. Outrageous pace on this guy, and you saw in that final what an absolute danger man he is. 11 goals, 11 assists this season in 45 games. Very happy to get him in. Evan Ferguson is still here. Played one game all season and now wants to leave. And as you can see from his stats, he's just not developed. So the curious case of Evan Ferguson goes on, and quite simply, I just do not understand why sometimes he is the best striker on the game and sometimes he is completely bog standard average. But that has been your Brighton rebuild. We've been in Europe every single season. We've won 2 Europa Leagues, a Conference League, an FA Cup. Can you take this team to now winning a Premier League title? That is down in the Patreon below. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure you're liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and I'll speak to you next time.